Okay, this week we're going over margins and we're talking about margins and bleeds. So we have here, just kind of looking at the assignment quick or the material, we have a margin that's acting as a frame. So it's focusing our attention on the image. We have here no margin where the image is bleeding across the page, bleeding across the page. And then we have here a partial bleed, so leaving some white space. This week we're going to be framing with words. We're going to add text into the picture, and we'll have two levels of framing. There's the framing of the image to the page and the framing of the text to the image. So in these examples, the way that we frame the words in the page and the way that the frames are working together, they're creating different impressions of the words. So well, not last week, 2 weeks ago when we were doing the Bauhaus, we were looking at words, thinking about words more integrating into the piece. Now we're kind of trying a completely different approach. So on the assignment, here's some examples of an artist. Let me go past that. In this assignment, we're going to use Photoshop. Okay, we're going to be back in Photoshop this week. We're going to see how framing can alter or how we understand the meaning of an image. So I have three options for quotes. Okay, and you're going to select one quote and use it for all of your versions. Okay, you're going to use the same picture and same quote for everything. Okay, and try altering the framing of both the picture, so full bleed, partial bleed, margins, and the text. And you're going to make 6 different versions. Here we have a couple examples to look at. All right, try using scale, maybe even try different fonts, but more importantly, different positions and different framing techniques. Okay, so I'm just going to get into the Photoshop. There's a little PDF to look at that like kind of explains everything in detail. But here I'm just going to go into Photoshop, and this is my photo. Okay, so this photo I'm going to use for all 6 images. First thing we need to do is to crop the photo. Okay, and I say specifically we're going to do 6 inches by 6 inches, 72 dpi. Okay, and for this we are going to delete the cropped pixels. Okay, so let's see, what do I want? I'm gonna go up a little bit, make it a little bit dynamic, or maybe, yeah, maybe like that. Almost centered, pretty much. Off put it a tiny bit. Okay, so here we go. All right, and we're deleting the crop pixels because if we didn't, I can just show you quickly, so I'm not going to delete. And this will make more sense later. But if I don't delete them and I try to change or like rescale it, so Control T, it's going to give me the full image. Okay, and I don't want that. Okay, and that'll make more sense why I don't want that later. So I'm just going to go back, hit my crop again. All right, and now I'm going to delete. And that's it, okay? Yes, I want this. Okay, so now I have a layer 0. All right, and I have my photograph. Okay, so let me grab my move tool. All right, so actually how we're going to do this kind of like a tricky way. Not really tricky, but I think it'll speed things up. And you can notice like I basically have my toolbar and my layers. And I know you guys, just from working in the classroom, like to have every possible window open. Again, my feeling is always get rid of everything that's confusing or you don't need. Okay, I like a nice clean desktop. All right, the one thing I need open though is my history. All right, so we're actually going to use our history panel to create the 6 files. All right, so first off, I'm going to save this as a JPEG. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to save it into my HVCC folder, like you guys have, graphic design. Here we go. And I'll just call this, I think I say call it original. I can spell that. I'm really stumped there. Okay, and I'm going to save it as a JPEG, JPizzle, and save all the way. Okay, cool. So now that I have it saved, all right, I'm going to go ahead and take, well, there's 2 options. I could create a new document from the current state. All right, so there's one. Doesn't look any different. All right, and I can just hit that 5 more times. So that'll give me my 6 different states. Or if I hit it 5 more, yeah, it'll give me my 6 different. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now I can go into the crop, this first one. All right, and I can kind of tuck this away. Dock it with that. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is we can transform this and alter it and create any kind of margin we want. See, right now, this is our bleed margin, okay? Or I could make it a little bit bigger if I want it. But I have my size set up. So now I'm going to add text, and I just want to go over the importance of making this a smart object, okay? Let me show you one thing. So if I do Control T now, I'm going to transform this. Nope, that's not what I want. Control T. There we go. That was weird. And say I go make it smaller. Okay, I have this giant margin. All right. And then say I change my mind. I'm like, you know what? I don't like that big margin for this version. So I'm going to make it bigger. Basically, what Photoshop did was it just threw away a bunch of pixels. Okay, now it's blurry. Okay, we don't want that. We don't want blurry images. So I'm going to actually use my history. I'm going to go back. All right. So when we're starting these, okay, and I do this all the time when I'm working on a design or a piece of art, something where I'm not sure it's going to be, like what size it's going to be. All right. Um, I always make it a smart object. Okay, so making this a smart object, making this layer is going to allow me to make it smaller. Oop, hold down Shift. Okay, now if I were to make it bigger. Okay, I don't lose any quality. Okay, it keeps like a version in the background. It keeps the original state in the background. All right, so let's get to doing something. So let's see. I will go into Control T, and I'm going to make this a little smaller. I'm going to hold down Shift, and I'll have a margin on this one. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, to get the margin, see in Photoshop, I have these little squares in the background. That means it's like invisible background. Okay, that's Photoshop visualization of the void. All right, so I'm going to make a new layer, And I'm going to have, say, a white background. A couple easy ways to do that. I could go to Edit, Fill, and I could say white and blank that in. But now it's like, oh, it's covered. Okay, just move your layers. All right, and now I'm ready to possibly add some type. All right, so I'm going to add some type into this. Now, what are my choices? Advice to intellectuals: let no one represent you. How about, I like this James Baldwin. The philosopher creates, he doesn't reflect. Okay, so maybe as you're doing this, think a little bit about what the images that you're using. Like, I don't know, I guess this will be kind of funny with my photograph. Control C. And now back to Photoshop, type tool. Experiment with the type again, but what do I have? This band shrift. It's like my new favorite font. And I'm gonna go for, let's go for light. And I'm just gonna, oh, it's gonna be huge. I don't want to deal with that. 48. Click in here. All right, and paste. Okay, and it still seems huge. So I'm gonna select it all. And I can't see anything because it's probably white, so I'm going to make it black. There it is. I'm going to drag that to the top. Yeah, thought I did. There we go. All right, now it's a whole big mess. Philosopher creates. Okay. So let me select all, and the color is like, what color are you? All right. Now my type tool has some weirdness going on to it. Set that to 0. Yeah, I was messing around with this earlier. Yours isn't going to be as confused as mine. Trust me. Right now I'm just playing with the line spacing. Okay, sorry. So here we have this, and they're not all the same size. There we go. Okay, well, that looks kind of nice. All right. So now I'm going to work with this type. Sorry about the confusion of getting that set. But let's look back at just some ideas here. Maybe I work in like a little another rectangle. Okay, how do you do that? Let's go back to Photoshop. I'm going to grab this, and I'm just going to play off the space of this. All right, so I'm going to make it like that. Do I want that? Yeah, sure. Again, I'm going to make now I'm going to make a new layer and go to Edit, Fill, and I'll do a black streak. All right, put that underneath. Control D to deselect. Now my type. I'm going to put it back to white. Okay, so I got that. All right, so now with this bar, maybe I'll play with how is it activating the space, okay? Do I want to maybe try something like that? Okay, how is it activating the image? I'm just going to use my arrow keys to kind of get this much better. Okay. I don't like that. Let me grab. So with your move tool, you can set it to auto select. Okay, so I'm going to click on this. Maybe something like that. Like that looks okay. There's something odd about it though. Something I don't like. Up here? Is it going to feel too top heavy? Maybe. There's something I don't like about it. That's okay. But, so let's try this. All right, I'm going to make another layer. And I'm going to try one with a black background. Okay. Now my square, I'm going to turn that off. And I'm just going to try, maybe it needs to be white. And again, I'm going to do it full, and then I'll just nudge it around for whatever. That's close enough. Edit. Oh, I need to make a new layer. Edit fill. I'm going to make that white. Okay. Now everyone's screaming, make the text black. Okay. You're right. I do need to do that. Okay. So maybe this is a better relationship. Okay. Again, it's about relationships. Design is all about the relationships you're creating. Okay. One thing reacting to another. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. It's better. What if it? I click on there. What if it broke this way, and then I aligned it that way? Now that's kind of interesting, maybe. Here we got this little bit of negative space, this little bit. We got Elvis very proud up there. Again, I keep going back to this top. I'm gonna nudge that around. Where's that lining up? I could do this for hours, guys. But yeah, that's not bad. And this is just one, okay? So you're gonna make 6 of these playing with the framing, okay? Try adding in squares of color, white or black. You could try a color, I guess. And then again, you're gonna have the type, all right? Again, I'd stick to a sans serif font, something just kind of easy, visually easy to kind of recognize and deal with, and just simple relationships. So again, here, even with this layer, I have one other thing I could even mess with. In your layers panel, I have opacity. I could add a slight opacity to it. In this situation, I don't like that at all, okay? But maybe there's a situation where that does work, okay? Um, all right, guys, those are the main things. So now I have one. Now I'm going to do a save as, and this will call, original. And I'll call this V1. Okay, and again, as a JPEG, ba-boom, ba-boom. Okay, so then I can go on to the next one and keep going. Maybe this one, well, that could be nice. All right, maybe I play with, maybe it's a partial bleed. Okay, this handsome Elvis lamp. All right, maybe I want that little bit of painting in there. That could be awfully weird, but maybe. All right. You're going to go through these and you're going to make 6 of them. Okay. Also this week, you're finishing up figure ground and color. All right. And then coming up soon is our next project where we're putting it all together. All right. Thanks, guys.